I thought this passage in Matthew 14 was compelling. I wanted to share about it. It's the part where Jesus is walking on the water and the disciples are freaked out. So around Matthew 14, verse 26, when the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Do not be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come out to you on the water." And Jesus said, "Come on." Then Peter got down out of the boat and walked on the water and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and he caught him. "You have little faith." And he said, "Why did you doubt?" And then they got back in the boat and worshiped Jesus, because that was pretty incredible what happened. I really think it's compelling that essentially you could put yourself in Peter's shoes. I know I can. Often I have moments when I feel totally at my wit's end and like I'm drowning. And all I can really say is, "Lord, save me." Almost like I'm totally, almost nearly all the way underwater. My hand is going up, and I just love that when Peter says that, he's sinking. He cries out, "Lord, save me." And if we had a really legalistic and just big jerk, grumpy grandpa God, you might think that he's just, would just slap your hand and let you sink. And be like, "Look at what you did. You are a, total failure. What a loser. You could have, you could have been walking like me on the water, being amazing, but instead, you're just a loser. What a pathetic, whatever, That's not what he says. That's not what he does. That's not what Jesus does. Now, how often does the self-talk and the voice in my own mind, I will say that stuff to myself. If you weren't such a loser punk, you'd be able to nail this and do this perfectly and do all that. But that's just not the response that we get from Jesus here. Peter's sinking, failing at the task that he was wanting to do. He wanted to walk on the water. It's not working out. He totally blew it, and he's sinking. He cries out, "Lord, save me." And immediately, Jesus reaches out his hand and he catches him. Like no hesitation, just whoop, "Hey, gotcha." Jesus does that because he loves him. He loves Peter. Peter's crying out for salvation, and Jesus reaches out and catches him immediately. No hesitation. And I also think the "you of little faith, why did you doubt?" Is that not warranted from Jesus, who's sitting there he's just like on the water. He's standing up, both feet on the water, not sinking, and doing this supernatural, incredible thing. I was just imagine he's got Peter just like by the wrist, and then he's sort of just holding on to him, just kind of like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, look at me, look at what's happening here. I got both my feet are standing on this like I'm standing on some concrete. Why did you doubt me? I don't know. There's probably more nuance to that. I don't know, but it's kind of just like, I feel like Jesus was a little warranted to say, I'm standing, and you're going to be okay. Like, it's going to be fine. In our moment of resignation, of saying, "I can't do this. I can't do this." I've had that before. I've had that many times. And it's almost like I feel like I'm like being sacrilegious or being like, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't tell God that. I'm sitting there telling God, like, I don't know if I can keep this up. This is really, really difficult. And I'm really bombing all the time. And I don't know if I can do this. And it's in that moment Jesus is reaching out and reminding me, apart from me, you can do nothing. That's his encouragement, that he's like, lean on me. Don't try and do it by yourself. Lean on me. It's a good thing to cry out to Jesus, save me. It's actually the best possible thing. What would have been stupid is if Peter was drowning, he's starting to drown, and Jesus is like trying to grab onto him. And then Peter would be going, no, I don't need your help. I got this. I can do it. Leave me alone. What would he do? He would have drowned. I think it's a good place to be if you're crying out in desperation for Jesus to save you. Because I just think he can work with that. It might be the only thing he can work with. That's where we need to be. And yeah, I was just encouraged by this passage this morning. So may we continue to cry out to Jesus, and may he continue to reach out immediately without hesitation and save us, as he delights to save sinners. That's all I got. Thanks.